Afternoon. We'll run through the two lineups once more if you are just joining us here at Spotland. We'll start with the Rochdale side first of all on this occasion. Max Flanagan in at fullback, Dan Nixon and Luke Forbert on the wings, Ben Wilt and Tom Ashton in this census. It's a half-back partnership of Martin Ridlard and Lewis Else. Starting props, Ben Clean and Luke Nelms. Ross Whitmore in at hooker. Second rows are Dylan Kelly, Duffy and Darcy Simpson. Emerson Whittall in at loose forward. On the interchange bench, Morgan Punchard, Isaac Reed, Jordan Andrade and Elijah Simpson. The 18th man, if needed, for the Hornets is Charlie McClear. And for Whitehaven, they line up with Dan Abram in at full-back on his 200th career appearance. Jay Weatherall and Max Anderson-Moore on the wings. Mitchell Todd and Joe Hartley in the centres. Half-back partnership of Jack Kellett and Ethan Bickerdike. Starting props, Jake Pearce and Jordan Thompson. Josh Blinkhorn makes his first start for Whitehaven this afternoon in at hooker. Back robbers Connor Holliday and Rio McQuiston. Loose forward is Ellison Holgate. On the interchange bench, Clark Chambers, Carl Garner, Daniel Spencer-Tonks and Ellis Nixon. The 18th man, if needed, for Whitehaven this afternoon is Aaron Turnbull, and we mentioned this afternoon, so it'll be Martin Ridgard who puts the ball down on the kicking tee. Luke Bland blows his whistle and we're underway here. And it's going to hold up in the air, collected on the full by Jack Kellett. He held up in the air and means Kellett has been wrapped up pretty much straight away. He gets up there and plays the ball. Blinkhorn in at dummy half, then finds Jake Pearce. Pearce will be the man to fetch Whitehaven forward. 23 metres away from his own line in at centre field. Goes left, does Blinkhorn and finds Jordan Thompson. It's another short and 30 and 40 here at Spotland, compared to not quite as short as it was at Cooker Park last mind you, but it is a short and 30 and 40. So it means Whitehaven look to throw this ball forward now, and Connor Holliday looks to try and find a gap when he's brought down 5 metres short of halfway. Blinkhorn will come down the short side right into the hands of Kellett, and Kellett throws a dummy looking to get through down the line. It is the 5 and last now, however, and Whitehaven will have to put the kick in. 48 seconds in, comes left to Bickerdike, gets the kick in left footed. Maybe a little bit of a deflection on that, but collected easily by Max Flanagan in at full back, and the Hornets will be looked to fetch the ball forward.
That was a really, really good set there, I think, from Whitehaven, just settling it down straight away, getting past the 50 metre line, and, getting a good kick away.
Looking to fetch the ball down the opposite edge now are the Hornets. Dan Nixon are trying to push him close to the touchline of Whitehaven, but he's too far out for that. He's 28 metres down away from the line, looking to continue to fetch his ball forwards now are the Hornets. That's short and 30 and 40 means the Hornets are just over the 40 now, only a metre so in there. Whitmore in at dummy half, comes across now, a couple of pairs of hands. Continue to fetch it forward with Ben Clean, and Clean will be taken down short of halfway here. Still a couple of tackles left in the bank. Whitmore will go right into the hands then of Emerson Whittle. Whittle stands up and tries to twist his way up the tackle, try to get his arm free, but it is the 5 and last. Similar position to where Whitehaven ended their set, just a few metres short of their opposition 40. Goes right now into the hands of Ridgard. Ridgard looks to get the kick in. All day for Dan Abram to stand and collect that, and he does Abram on his 200th appearance. Nearly through the line there was Dan Abram, and then he's now going to be brought down just short of his own 20. Kellett will dive in at dummy half, and that'll be Mitchell Todd looking to fetch it forward. He'll take Whitehaven just over their own 20 in and around centre field here at Whitehaven, mainly on this right hand side, but they do go left into the hands of Joe Hartley on loan from the Midlands Hurricanes, back in at centre this afternoon. Comes in towards the middle now with Thompson. Thompson then passes it on to Jake Pearce, and Pearce will be wrapped up, put down onto his back, 5 metres short of halfway. 2.5 gone here at Spotland. Jordan Thompson will take Whitehaven over halfway to 5 and last on this occasion. It's going to come right into the hands of Kellett. Kellett will get the kick away end over end, and Jay Weatherall's going to be on the chase, and he's trying to put his man off there, which was Luke Forbert on this side. He couldn't do so. Forbert took it cleanly. Hornets play the ball.
That was a really, really good chase as well from Whitehaven there. Just get straight in and getting stuck in there, and that's exactly what the coach and everyone at Whitehaven wants to see.
Goes right. Couple of pairs of hands now before finding Dan Nixon, who's in off the wing. Wrapped up, taken down short of his own 40. In a dummy half, comes towards the middle now with the experienced man in Nelms. Nelms goes it out the back, and they're looking to get it through the gap. He's nearly through the gap. There is Lewis Else. Last gap tackle from Kellett, and Holliday brings him down just over halfway. Goes into the middle with Nelms now once more. Gets it away then to Emerson Whittle, and Whittle's going to be the man that's wrapped up, put down 40 metres out of the Hornets, and it's centre field on the 5 and last. 3.5 gone. Comes left into the hands then of Else, and Else will get the kick away. And they've collected in front of Dan Abram. Been able to get there to be able to fetch him down. Tom Ashton, they can't. It was Dylan Kelly-Duffy who jumped above. Dan Abraham will be disappointed with that one. Well, Dan Abraham and then Kelly-Duffy got the ball away to Tom Ashton in this left-hand side corner. Just under, well, now 4 minutes gone here at Spotland. It is Rochdale Hornets 4, Whitehaven 0.
Yeah, it was a tough one that for Whitehaven to take. I think as soon as Lewis Ells tried to make the break, it just kind of got the Whitehaven defence a bit out of touch really, and then a great kick, and Dan Abraham will be a bit disappointed with that one, but be hoping to come back into the game after this next set.
Don't get me wrong, Dylan Kelly-Duffy has got maybe a good 6-7 inches on Dan Abraham, but as a fullback you'd be disappointed when you've been out jumped.
Yeah, 100%, that's exactly what you look for, you know. It's one of the main jobs as well when you're taking a ball in, but it's one of those things, he's got to get that out of his mind now and focus on the rest of the game.
Well, it'll be Martin Ridyard to do the kicking duties. That was Tom Ashton's 9th try of the season for the Hornets and just his 11th appearance in League and Cup. And Ridyard is only making his 4th Rochdale appearance. Obviously hasn't been in. I think he might have picked up an injury earlier in the season. Missed a lot of last campaign with an injury as well. Did Martin Ridyard. Did you say he was 39 now these days? Is Martin Ridyard?
Indeed, yep.
Oh, he still knows, got his kicking boots as Martin Ridyard, because that's right over the black dot here at Spotland and just into the 6-minute BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. It is Rochdale Hornets 6, Whitehaven 0. Not the start that Whitehaven would have wanted.
No, but you know they'll be hoping for a good set here and maybe force an error and see where they can go from there in the next set.
You hear about coaches saying that point, that set after kick-off, receiving that ball from kick-off is really, really important, just to ensure you don't give your opposition early meters, and they won't have to worry about that because that kick-off's out on the full, and it's not the best start. Dan Abraham's 200th career appearance, the kick-off's come from the Haven fullback, and that was about 4 to 5 metres, far too deep there.
Yeah, just a tad. Yeah, I think he'll be very disappointed with that one as well, but yeah, we'd have to have a big set here from Whitehaven and see where they can go from there.
So Whitehaven need to keep themselves in this battle. We've seen last week what they've done when they kept themselves in a battle. They were 10-0 down, obviously, at Cougar Park last week, but obviously got themselves back to 10-all in the latter stages of the first half and then just faded away in the second half. We know they can go up against sides in this division. We've seen it earlier in the season, but just not giving themselves an opportunity at times so far this season. So it means that Dylan Kelly-Duffy is now the man to fetch it forward. Put down onto his back is Kelly-Duffy. Whitmore in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands then of Killian, and Killian met there by Jake Pearce, Jordan Thompson, Ellison Holgate in at loose forward rather than hooker this afternoon was the first man off. 18 metres out, comes left into the hands of Else. Else takes it to the line, then looking to get it out the back, and then nearly in here. It's just going to be Flanagan that's going to be brought down. I think Flanagan got the pass away to forward in this corner. It was all she wrote. Tom Ashton's now going to try and dive his way over from dummy half, but Whitehaven do survive. They've got one more to survive here. A metre out, goes right, bounces into the hands of Else, and Whitehaven are trying to get up on him. Just need to wrap him up. He's trying to get it through. He does get the kick away. Abraham collects, and there should be broken field in front here for Dan Abraham, trying to make up for his error. He's going to be brought down 18 metres out there.
I think that'll make Dan Abraham feel much more comfortable as well, you know, taking that ball and having a little nice run with it.
McQuiston will now look to try and take his side forward. He's brought down 22, 23 metres out. Blinkhorn goes left, finds Ethan Bickerdike, gets it across to Joe Hartley. The space there if Whitehaven can use it, and Hartley is almost through. He's brought down 8 metres short of halfway, 10 in from the far touchline. Holgate gets it across then to Jake Pearce. The two former Waff Brown men combining. Brought down 3 metres short of halfway. Blinkhorn will scoot from dummy half. His first start for Whitehaven this afternoon for the former Millen man. 7.5 on the clock. BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. It is the fifth and last. Goes left into the hands of Ethan Bickerdike. Gets the kick away as Bickerdike, and Max Anderson moves on the chase. But can't get too close to Max Flanagan, and Flanagan's going to run laterally. Good pressure there from Whitehaven, though they've been able to wrap him up, and they're going to drag him back a metre or two, meaning the start of the set behind their own 10 metres.
Yeah, that was a quite brilliant set, really. Setting it all up, and now they'll be hoping to hunt the error.
Forber comes in off the wing to try and take his side forward, but he's taken down. Whitehaven just need to try and pin the Hornets in here. Continue to look to fetch it forward now. Ben Will, the centre, the man to fetch it forward. No, it's not, sorry, it's Dan Nixon. But he plays it 22, 23 metres out into the middle now with Luke Nelms, and Nelms gets Hornets over the 30 metre or two away from that 40 metre line in that shortened gap. 8.5 gone, 6-0 to the Hornets. Goes right now into the hands of the back rower Darcy Simpson on the 5 and last, exactly on halfway. Comes back into the hands of Ridyard, and Ridyard will get that kick away. Jay Weatherall get himself underneath it. I think he collected it more with his knees there, Jay Weatherall, rather than anything else. He done well to collect it. It was a high kick, and he's going to play this ball 20 metres out. Kellett's in there at dummy half. Mitchell Todd is now the man then to try and take Whitehaven forward. Keeps his legs pumping, does the former Lauker man. 25, 26 metres away from his own line. Goes left into the hands of Max Anderson-Moore, and he'll take Whitehaven into the middle of that short and 30 and 40 into the 10th minute. Blinkhorn in at dummy half. Goes down that short left-hand side once more into the hands of Joe Hartley. Whitehaven within 5 or halfway here, so a good few tackles left in the bank as well. Blinkhorn into the middle now with Jordan Thompson. Out the back to Kellett. Kellett then gets it across to Conor Holliday. Gets it into the hands of Abraham. He'll now find Mitchell Todd. Tom looks to step back inside with the handoff, taken down. 5 and last now. Whitehaven 40 metres out. Do they come short? Do they go left? They're going to come down the short side with Jack Kellett. Kellett looks to get the kick in for Weatherall to be on the chase with. Weatherall just sought to see what Flanagan was doing there, see if he could get him in touch, but he done well, Flanagan. He knew Weatherall was there, collected, and just dove back inside to ensure he wasn't going to be pushed over the touch line.
Yeah, that was really, really good defending again there. I think Flanagan did excellently taking the ball, but making sure they didn't make any yards was very important as well.
So Dan Nixon now looking to fetch the Hornets forward as he lost that ball upon contact with the ground. It looked like a little fumble from here, but no one really interested out on the field. Goes right to Ridyard, then goes out to the back row. It'll be Darcy Simpson on that side, but he's going to be wrapped up. Back into the middle now, Ridyard brings it. Looking to get the ball away is Ridyard. Does, into the hands of Emerson Whittle. And Whittle's going to be wrapped up on that 30 metre line. Good defensive set from Whitehaven here because it's the 5 and last, 10 and a half gone, but then we've got a stoppage because there's a Rochdale man just quite close to the play of the ball. So we'll have that stoppage there. Is the scoreboard clock going to stop? No, that means I'm going to have to stop this one, so we'll stop that one there. But like you said, not the best start from Whitehaven, Harvey, but then was able to able to get back into it, especially on that set, and apply the pressure.
Exactly, and this is the most important part. You just kind of sometimes get the try if you can see, just get it out of your brain, focus on the next part of the play, think it's 0-0 and go from there really. And I think that's exactly what Whitehaven have done in the last couple of sets, I'd say, both defensive and attacking as well. I think they've just got to keep believing that they can get back into the game, which, as a coach, 100% they will. So they've just got to hope that now.
Dan Nixon is the man that's down, seeking treatment. But they're hoping not to lose him. He's a winger. He does get the thumb up from the physio. It'd be quite a reshuffle if you need to bring a winger off, of course. Not many teams carry wingers on the bench, but he's okay, gets the thumbs up. But this is the 5 and last, remember, so Whitehaven's had opportunity to set. Can they put some pressure on the kicker here? Will it be Ridyard? Will it be else? Looks like Ridyard's in place for it. Back underway. And it'll be Ridyard that does get the kick in. Whitehaven's back a little bit too deep. He bounces kindly for Dan Abraham, collects 25 metres out, offers it up to Anderson-Moore, dummies, and then it's going to be brought down just a metre short of that 40 metre line. It'll be Anderson-Moore in there at dummy half. He'll scoot himself, will the winger. Brings it into centre field and brought down 4-ish metres short of halfway. Comes into the hands now of Conor Holliday. Holliday will take himself over the halfway line and does well going backwards there, does Conor Holliday. Got to another 10 metres majority, then post contact for the Whitehaven captain. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half. Back towards the middle now with Kellett, and Kellett will pop it up to Jordan Thompson, and Thompson looks to try and get his arm free in the tackle, but he's taken down. 27-ish metres out here for Whitehaven. Goes left into the hands now of Jake Pearce, finds Bickerdike then out the back to Abraham. Abraham steps back inside once and twice, offers it up once, then through the middle is Dan Abraham, then gets it away into the hands now of Conor Holliday. Holliday straightens up, he's trying to get back inside. Massive collision between two Rochdale Hornets players, and they've actually forced the error there as well. Initially thought it was the clash of heads from where we were sitting, but it's fantastic shot on Conor Holliday, potentially a try-saving shot. Going to be scrummed down, head and feet to the Hornets, but Whitehaven looking good there, Harvey.
Yeah, really, really excellent. Dan Abraham just getting the error out of his brain and just focusing on the next part of the play and getting Holliday into a great hole there, and it really could have been a try. He was just unlucky with the error, but he'll be open to, again, another big defensive set here. So
it'll be else to feed the scrum. Lining up on the right-hand side and do go. Whitehaven's left-hand side, it's Ben Will, the man, to fetch it forward. Trying to push him back a metre or two there. Ellison, Holgate, McQuiston. And orders to Holgate's the last man off. It was Bickerdike involved there as well. Now looking to try and continue to fetch it forward here to the Hornets, but Whitehaven's defence on top. 4 involved in that tackle. Last man off is Holgate once more. Coming across to Else. Else gets it into the hands then. Is it Nelms? Nelms is going to be taken down, put down on his front. 25 away from his own line here. Whittle gets it across to Ridyard. Ridyard pops it up into the hands of his teammate. I don't think he was expecting it, whoever it was in the Hornets man. It is Darcy Simpson. Killian now the man to fetch it forward, trying to get his arm through. He's taken down. 5 and last, 3 metres short of halfway. McChryston trying to put the pressure on. That potentially looks forward, but gets the pass away. Not going to go down that right hand edge, then eventually put the kick in, and it means Dan Abram, it'll bounce. Oh, ball and all tackle on Dan Abram. He's got it eventually. Smart play from the Rochdale Hornets, and Whitehaven are now going to have to work hard to fetch his ball forward through Joe Hartley.
That was a quite brilliant chase, but fair play to Dan Abram there, just take the ball, not make the error, because if he made the error there, it'd put real pressure on the Whitehaven defence.
Jay Weatherall trying to burst his way through the defence. He's taken down now, third tackle. Whitehaven 20 metres out into the 14th minute here at Spotland, still 6-0 in favour of the home side. Mitchell Todd will play this ball. Blinkhorn comes all right, left, and then eventually decides to scoot himself. Blinkhorn taken down. It is the 5 and last. Whitehaven have done well to get to their own 40 following Dan Abram being wrapped up where he was. Comes into the hands now of Kellett. Kellett will get that kick away end over end. Flanagan sets himself, steadies himself and takes it 15 metres away from his own line. The Whitehaven defence is on top of him and they're able to fetch him down. He's nearly under actually through there. He's Max Flanagan. Great work from the fullback. He's brought down 30 away from his own line.
Yeah, Max Flanagan started this game really well for Rochdale Hornets and looks like he's going to be a real threat for the Whitehaven back line.
Dan Nixon then now, the man that's going to be wrapped up. Plays it just short of his own 40 in at centre field. Jordan Andrade is now onto the field. An early change for Gary Thornton's side, of course, who we've had with us plenty of times here on BBC Radio Cumbria in previous seasons. Goes right now into the hands of Ridgard. Dummies once, then gets it across to Simpson. Simpson will then be taken down exactly on halfway, just to the right of centre. Comes back towards the middle now with Nelms. Nelms then finds Jordan Andrade. Looks to get his arm through. He's got that in his locker as Andrade, but he's wrapped up, taken down in the middle of that shortened 30 and 40. Goes right into the hands of Ridgard. Ridgard puts it up in the air. Sort of cross-field on that. Whitehaven need to be alive to this. Dan Abram rises the highest. Fantastic work from Dan Abram on that occasion. Able to rise the highest. A good, foot and a half off the ground. Easily was Dan Abram there as he collected that ball. And it's now Mitchell Todd, the man to fetch it forward. Blinkhorn will lie in wait at dummy half. Quarter of an hour gone. Goes left now into the hands of Holgate. Finds Bickerdike. Bickerdike will just have to straighten up here and take it forward, and he does. 27 metres away from his own line. As Isaac Reed's getting ready to come on down below us as well for the Hornets. They're looking to try and get back the advantage they've maybe missed in this last few minutes. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half as Jake Pearce is now the man to fetch it forward. Finds Jordan Thompson, and Thompson will keep his legs pumping and take Whitehaven over halfway. It is the 5 and last. Just a metre or two over halfway. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half into the hands of Keller. Plenty of pressure being put on Keller. Has to put the kick in, and it was a kick that he had to improvise there, did Jack Keller. Collected by Tom Ashton, only 5 or 6 metres away, and it means the Hornets start this set only 10 short of halfway.
Yeah, it was a slightly rushed kick there. I'd be quite disappointed, but I think really good defence from Rochdale shooting up. But yeah, now it's a big set needed from Whitehaven here defensively. Just the one penalty in this game so far, which come in the obviously following the ball going out from kick-off. Isaac Reed's now come onto the field here for the Hornets, and it's lost there by Lewis Ells. Was having a look and seeing on the defensive line, seeing he was up in front of him. But it's going to be scrum down, head and feet to Whitehaven, and Whitehaven getting ready to make a substitution as well. DST, Daniel Spencer Tonks, will be the man that's going to be introduced. It'll be a scrum down, head and feet to Whitehaven, 10 short of halfway. And a bit of a let off there, considering that rush kick from Whitehaven. Yeah, absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I think that the way that they could have set up there at Rochdale and really put pressure on that Whitehaven line, but no, a big error, and it was unopposed as well, so it was really important for Whitehaven to, get up the field now and maybe make another repeat set, penalty or something like that, get that from the next set and we'll go from there really. Kellett feeds to scrum, comes left into the hands of Blinkhorn, fine, then Joe Hartley's through, and he should be through. There's no one at home. Has he got the speed as Joe Hartley? He hasn't. Dan Nixon's been able to take him down, but Whitehaven are within 12 here. Anderson Miller's in there at dummy half, comes right now into the hands of Abram, and Abram straightens up. He gets the off all the way into the hands of Hellison Holgate, finds now Blinkhorn round 1, round 2, is he over? He's Josh Blinkhorn, he is on that left hand side, is the Whitehaven hooker, his first start in Whitehaven colours, and he's able to ground the ball for just his second try of the season. Is Josh Blinkhorn. Whitehaven have reduced the deficit and have an opportunity to level the scores. BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online, it's Rochdale 6, Haven 4. That was absolutely fantastic from Whitehaven there. Just get on the front foot straight away in that set. Lovely ball straight through, and then Rochdale could never ever compete after that. It was quick play the ball straight away, and Blinkhorn went and scored his first try of the match, and that's a crucial try, nearly the quarter mark at the first half.
So DST has been introduced, can't quite work out who he's replaced at the minute. It looks to be Jordan Thompson, who's not out there amongst the Whitehaven huddle, but it now means Dan Abram will have an opportunity to level the scores here at Spotland. One of his former clubs, of course, on his 200th career appearance. He was on his way in. He was actually just coming in as I was coming in, and one of the top ticket guys down said, I recognise you, and he went, yeah, I used to play here, so that'll be why. And he said, oh yeah, I remember your dad too, because obviously Darren would have played here. He's played at Oldham as well as Darren, so I'm sure I've seen him in attendance here this afternoon as well. But Dan Abram is able to tag on the extras. 18 and a half gone here at Spotland. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online, scores level, and following that, conceding that early try and then the mistake from the kick-off. Since then, Whitehaven have worked really well to get back into the game, Harvey.
They have indeed. I think they'll be really pleased so far, because you can go under sometimes with a couple of errors, but no, they've done really well to get back into it, and now they'll hope to, get that confidence and maybe push on and try and get another try quickly.
So it'll be Ridgard who'll put the ball down on the kicking tee for the Hornets. Game back underway. Jack Kellett is the man that's underneath it. Oh, he had to step forward at the last minute there, did Jack Kellett. Looks like potentially it could be a windy afternoon out there. I know your team sheet's gone astray a couple of times, Harvey, so we've had to keep an eye on that. But it's now Mitchell Todd is the man now looking to fetch it forward. Todd's going to be taken down 27, 28 metres out. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half. Into the hands now of DST. Gets himself over that shortened 30 and 40. Comes left into the hands then of Biggerdike. Finds Abram. Hartley come look to get down that left hand side once more. Hartley then finds Anderson Meward. I think the better ball probably would have been for Hartley to keep himself there, but found Anderson Meward, who's been taken down 30 metres out. Whitehaven's made 15, 20 metres there. Into the hands now of McQuiston. Plenty of opportunity here to now put pressure on what is now the 5 and last. Blinkhorn will still be in there at dummy half. 22 metres out. Goes left into the hands of Biggerdike. Biggerdike going to try and get through the line himself there. There was pressure being put on him by the Rochdale defence, and he couldn't just break through, could he, from Biggerdike, trying to use his obviously strength and power in his usual position as a centre, but not able to get the ball through. Turnover ball, just over 20 minutes gone.
I think, again, a really good set after points. Getting down the field and make Rochdale come out of their own backyard really here and see where they can go from. But I think that left edge is really looking good for Whitehaven here. It's looking lethal at times.
Continue to look at fetching the ball forward. Do the Hornets. Rochdale man that's taken down. Killian will play the ball 20 metres out from his own line, just to the left of centre. Whittle now the man to fetch it forward. Taken down. 20 short of halfway. Comes into the hands now of Lewis Ells, and then that's going to be lost by Dylan Kelly Duffy. Whitehaven have forced the error once more, and last time Whitehaven got a scrum, they score from it. Can they get an opportunity here? They're just starting to get back into this game more and more to Whitehaven, and it might just be on top of in the last few minutes.
That's what confidence does for you sometimes, though. Literally, like scoring points and then putting pressure after a really good attacking set after points. They've made the error. Lewis Ellis has made his second error of the game, really, which is unlike him. So it's really important for Whitehaven to now have a good set again. Maybe if they don't score points, maybe get a repeat set.
So Kellett to feed the scrum. Goes left from Blinkhorn into the hands of Biggerdike. Will find Hartley. Now they've got 3 men at that time. They know exactly to keep an eye on Joe Hartley now to the Rochdale Hornets defence. 4 overall got involved with the tackle. He's taken down 25-ish metres out. Into the hands now of Rio McQuiston. Taken down 22 metres out. Plays the ball. Blinkhorn in there to dummy half. 6 again in favour of Whitehaven. It's going to be lost by Ellison Holgate up on contact there. Uncharacteristic. Oh, actually, my apologies. No, it's Jake Pearce. My apologies to Ellison Holgate. Jack Kelly pushes the man back, but it does mean the Hornets here are going to start this. Only 5 or 6 metres away from their own line. Tom Ashton has got some hard yards to do here, but he looks to fetch it forward. Pearce, Holiday and Blinkhorn all involved in that tackle. 10 metres out. Goes right. Continue to look at fetch it forward, but Whitehaven's defence is on top here. Third tackle and still behind their own 20 here are the Hornets. Andrade now looking to try and do the hard yards for his side, but pushes off Connor Holiday, but doesn't make too many metres after that, because Blinkhorn, Pearce and Jack Kellett were all there as well. Rio McQuiston nearly caught offside. That looks forward from here to Whittle. Oh no, and it's Holgate intercepted it, and Whitehaven going to be in. Picked his pocket, Holgate's in to the left hand side of the post. 7th try of the season for Ellison Holgate, in at loose forward this afternoon. Just picked his pocket there, did Ellison Holgate, into the 23rd minute here at Scotland. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. Haven lead 10 points to 6.
That's an absolute dream of a start, really, from Whitehaven there. Literally, as soon the intercept's absolutely perfect. He ran down the length of the field, 40 metres, and that's it. And Whitehaven currently lead. The pressure is really told for Rochdale there, because constant pressure defensively and in attack from Whitehaven has led to another 4 points, and potentially 6 if Dan Abram can kick this.
Well, Whitehaven will certainly hope so, as Clark Chambers is being introduced out there for Whitehaven. Not quite seeing who's left the field at the moment, because I don't think any of them have, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But it is Dan Abram, pretty much from a similar position where he nailed his first one, did Dan Abram. Still searching for his first try back in a Whitehaven shirt, but will very happily just keep tagging 2 points on if Whitehaven can score 4 this afternoon. On the 18-yard box of the football Markington, just tags it on. Does Dan Abram. Whitehaven lead 12 points to 6 here in Greater Manchester, and it is now, just as we head into the 25th minute, Rochdale Hornets 6, Whitehaven 12. What a turnaround, Harvey.
Absolutely incredible. It's been absolutely sensational the last 10-15 minutes from Whitehaven. They've just put those couple of errors at the start of the game behind them and really got on with it, and again they're in front, but just by sheer hard work and real pressure on the back line.
Something Anthony Murray has spoke about in previous week is his side not being clinical when they've got into situations, when they've had ball in the red area, in the good ball, they're not being able to take it. They've done that in the opening 25 minutes this afternoon.
And the rest, really. They've really done well throughout it so far, and there's hope for, again, a good set here after points and see where they can go.
Jack Kellett collects the ball and DST fetches it off the back fence, and he's brought down 15-16 metres away from his own line. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half. Mitchell Todd now looking to try and fetch his side forward, 22-23 metres away from his own line. Just to the right of centre is Todd. Blinkhorn goes left into the hands of Clark Chambers. He's replaced, it seems to be Jake Pearce out there. So in the middle once again is Clark Chambers this afternoon. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half, goes left and finds a couple of pairs of hands before finding Rio McQuiston. McQuiston tries to spin out of that tackle, but he's brought down 10 metres short of halfway. 12-13 metres in from the far touch line. Back towards the middle now with Holgate. Holgate taken down, 2 short of halfway. Blinkhorn's going to go left. Couple of tackles in the bank, but Biggerdike looks to go early and get it back in behind there, and it's going to be too deep. It's a fantastic playing service here, recently relayed. That's why Rochdale playing here for the first time since the end of May, and it just bounced and it's gone dead. Going to be tap 27 tackle set for the Hornets.
That was unfortunate, that a little bit, just a little bit too much on the kick, but again, it's just one of those things you've got to get out of your brain. You'll be fine in the next set if you have a good defensive.
Looking to come down this left-hand side edge now. You could hear the contact from here. Tom Ashton was met by Jack Kellett and Jay Weatherall there. Connor Holiday got involved as well. Goes right into the hands of Else, and Else then finds Ben Killian. Killian brought down by DST. Chambers and Holgate involved there as well. Goes right into the hands of Ridyard. Ridyard runs and then gets to the cross into the back rower in Darcy Simpson. Sorry, it's Whittle out there now. Whittle then taken down. 40 away from the Whitehaven line, back towards the middle with Andrade. Andrade then gets it across to fellow prop forward Killian. Couple of tackles left, obviously following that 7 tackle set here. The 22 metres out, goes right. Ridyard back in towards the middle now with Andrade. Just seemed devoid of IDs in these last few sets to the Hornets. Whitehaven will hope that continues. 5 and last. It's going to go right into the hands of Ridyard. Ridyard looking for the kick towards the corner. Anderson Moore will be the man that's going to try and challenge for it. Nixon's in there as well. Nixon has got it, but he's got plenty of numbers able to wrap it up. And then it's a penalty. I think that's harsh. Anderson Moore has gone up for the challenge and he's elected. He's been tackled in the air there. Has Dan Nixon first real penalty of the game following the ball going out on full from the kickoff. Luke Bland's giving it 13 minutes to go to the half-time break.
Yeah, that was a bit of a 50-50 call there, and I think it just went the Rochdale Hornets side of things there. But
it's always the attacking side that get the benefit of the doubt in sort of that situation, isn't it? But the game's back underway, so Whitehaven need to switch back on in defence here, because it's Andrade that's going to be taken down. 2 metres away from the line. Going to come left into the hands of Ridyard. Comes into the hands of else. Then comes in the hands of Tom Ashton. And Ashton breaks through. He's second of the afternoon for Tom Ashton into the 28th minute. For Tom Ashton, it is 10th of the season in just his 11th appearance, as I mentioned. His second of the afternoon. And that all comes from that, what will say, dubious penalty shout, 50-50. It's gone in favour of the attacking side. Whitehaven not able to survive from the following set.
No, it's always hard as well when it's 10 metres out and the side's got a fresh set, and there were no stopping Ashton from there, unfortunately. He just smashed straight through the line. And Whitehaven again, it's one of those things, it's unfortunate. They've just got to get out of the range really and focus on the next set.
It's a powerful frame for the centre, isn't he, Tom Ashton? He's got the frame of a prop forward.
Yeah, you would think he was a back rower at least. Yeah. At the very least, he's very, very strong as well. The way he carries it, so powerful. But yeah, we'll see how Whitehaven get on from here.
Hornets have reduced the deficit to 2 points. Can Ridyard tag on the extras? Watched him kick plenty of points over the years for the likes of Lee, Featherstone, Huddersfield. He had a spell on loan with them at one point. Ridyard now comes at it right-footed. It's just fell to the near left-hand side post. So Haven do remain in the lead here at Spotland. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Just about to tick over into the 30th minute. It's Rochdale Hornets 10, Whitehaven 12.
And it's been a very, very impressive start from Whitehaven despite that try. I think they'll be really, really pleased with where the first 30 minutes have gone. I think defensively, pretty much superb. Again, a slight 50-50 call there went against them, but he's got to get it out and see how they get on in the next set and beyond.
Dan Abram to put the ball down on the kicking tee. Kick-off eventually comes now. Closer to the ground on this occasion for Dan Abram, not wanting to make any repeats of what we saw earlier on. Andrade is now the man to fetch it forward, and he's burst through there as Jordan Andrade, brought down by DST. The Hornets now on the front foot. They're now full of confidence following their 4-pointer as Killian's the man to fetch it forward. He's brought down 5 short of halfway. Comes down this left hand side to Else. Else then looks to shape and throw the dummy, but they're able to wrap him up. But he's now within the Whitehaven half, 40 metres away from the Haven try line. Comes right into the middle of Whittle. Ellis Nixon getting ready to come on to Whitehaven down below us. 27-28 metres out now as it comes left into the hands of Ridyard. Then comes into the hands of Dylan Kelly Duffy. Wrapped up, 3 Whitehaven defenders in there. It is the 5 and less now. Kellett, Holiday and Blinkhorn all involved. Goes right into the hands of Ridyard. Ridyard runs before getting the kick in over the top. Far too close to Max Anderson-Moore. Dan Nixon was nowhere near. And Anderson-Moore is now going to try and find green grass. And he's been wrapped up there by Max Flanagan and a couple of others. Anderson-Moore were brought down 18 metres away from his own line.
A really, really good carry as well. He just got stuck in straight away and got Whitehaven on the front foot in this set.
So Blinkhorn's left the field. Looks like we're going to see Ellison Holgate revert to hooker. Ellis Nixon going to go in at loose forward. Clark Chambers is the man to fetch it forward. Brought down in the middle of that shortened 30 and 40. Goes left into the hands now of McQuiston. Both sides trying to get on the front foot here in the latter stages of the first half at Spotland. Plays it on halfway. Goes down that short side into the hands of Bickerdike. Bickerdike then going to be put down. It is the 5 and last. Slow play the ball, but Holgate will put the kick in. Realised that Bickerdike, obviously his half-back option was in there at playing the ball, so realised just put the kick in himself, found the touchline. I think that's one of the first opportunities we've had just to relax in these last few minutes.
Exactly, relax, set up, and then let everyone get set, and everyone will feel much more comfortable having a bit of a breather here, I believe. And plus, making Rochdale go at about 90 metres, is it? So
yeah. 90-ish plus metres they'll have to go. So plays the ball. We'll fetch it forward. Will Max Flanagan, the fullback. Whitmore still in there at dummy half. Holiday's looking to force the error. Oh, I thought he'd forced the error there. Ashton gets the offload away then into the hands of Forber. Forber looks to come back inside, trying to get around the Whitehaven defence. Now has to straighten up. Brought down combination of Clark Chambers and DST. Whitmore in there at dummy half. We'll go into the middle with Whittle. Emerson Whittle hit, brought down 11 metres short of halfway. Whitmore once more in there at dummy half into the middle there. Fantastic work from DST. Just lined up Ben Killian there, knew exactly what was coming and made no meters there, did Rochdale. But then now they've scooted from dummy half and just got over halfway. It is the 5 and last. 8 minutes to go to the half-time break as we make it. Cubs left into the hands of Ridgard, looking for a neat chip over the top. Ellison Holgate was all over that, collected it, then gets the ball into Dan Abram. Broken field in front of Dan Abram. He's in support, it's Jay Weatherall, goes himself. Abram, just brought down. Fantastic work from the Whitehaven fullback. Surely a 6 again. It's not. Weatherall in there at dummy half and finds DST. Bounces off one tackle to DST. Now straightens up once more. Whitehaven within 10 metres here with plenty of tackles in the bank. Weatherall will be in there at dummy half and he will come left into the hands of Keller. Keller then finds Clark Chambers. Potentially forward, but Chambers is going to be brought down. Centre field 11 metres out. Holgate in there at dummy half will come right into the hands of Keller. Keller then straightens up. Jack Kellett. He's over on this right hand side. It's Jack Kellett in a half back this afternoon. He hasn't given. Similar to last season when Jack Kellett had put that ball down against Halifax. The video showed he'd got it down. I think he's got it down again on that occasion and it's been ruled out. All for money that it looked like Jack Kellett had gone over, and the Whitehaven fans behind the sticks, you can hear them telling you what they think of that. I'm not too sure. We'll have to watch that one back on the video later on in the week. But for me, it looked like Jack Kellett had got that ball down and Whitehaven should have a 6-point advantage.
It was extremely close either way. I mean, I couldn't see it properly from here in that sense. I did think he got it down from here, but you know, the referee was pretty adamant straight away, so it's just one of those there. But great shape and everything. I think I've been really, really impressed with Dan Spencer-Tonks so far. He's an absolutely superb off the bench.
Andrade will play the ball here as Morgan Punchard's out there now for the Hornets, replacing Whitmore. 32 metres out as Whitmore plays this. That shortened 30 and 40 means he's over the 40 and quite close, I should say, to halfway as Punchard when he's brought down. Chambers and Holgate involved. No, it's not Whitmore that's come on because he's just dumped in a dummy half, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one, but it is now Isaac Reed off the bench taking this forward, and the Hornets are over halfway. Now finds Ridgard. Ridgard runs it across the line, obviously up once, then comes out the back now to Els with the dummy, and he's through there. He's just taken down. Jack Kellett with the ankle tap, got the ball away to Kelly Duffy, then back inside, and now Dan Abram has broken field in front of him. He's trying to find a gap. He's then going to be taken down. Was that a potential trip from Martin Ridgard? The Whitehaven coaching staff and backroom staff down below are screaming for a trip. They're not going to get it. Mitchell Todd's now the man to try and take it forward. It's like basketball out there at the minute for both sides. 5:45 as we make it to the half-time hooter. Holgate in there at dummy half finds Nixon, calling for the high tackle on Nixon, which they're not going to get a Whitehaven. Just feel like calls in the last couple of minutes won't have gone their way. In the hands now of Bickerdike, out the back line to Dan Abram. Really lighting up this game in the last 5 minutes as Dan Abram, as Joe Hartley's taken down. 25 metres out, 5-6 metres in from that far touchline, bringing it more central now with Rio McQuiston. Taken down, it is the 5 and last. Calling for it on this right hand side edge. Going to go left instead. Holgate finds Bickerdike. Bickerdike can't get the kick away. He's trying to get his arm free. Breaks free. Does even Bickerdike trying to get his offload free. And that's Ellison Holgate. And Whitehaven are in once more. Puts it down to Ellison Holgate. They were ruled out just 2 minutes ago through Jack Kellett. But Ellison Holgate gets his second of the afternoon. He's 8th of the season in Whitehaven colours. And the former Waff Brown man does give Whitehaven that 6-point advantage just under 5 minutes of the half-time break. Whitehaven hopefully back on for their first victory since the end of May, but there's a long way to go yet.
Well, that was absolutely superb, and it's exactly what Whitehaven deserved. They've just kept pushing and pushing throughout this first half to get that third try, and through Ellison Holgate they have just great push down that left edge. I spoke about it before with how dangerous they've been, and with McQuiston and also Joe Hartley as well, just been really, really strong down that left edge. And in the end, they've gone and scored through Ellison Holgate. He's got his second of the game.
And Dan Abram with the easiest conversion attempt he's had all afternoon, although they haven't been too difficult so far for Dan Abram, have they? They'll be looking to try and tag on the extras as we're about to tick into the 37th minute here at Spotland, BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. They're looking to tag on the extras once more, and great run there initially from Dan Abram as well to get the ball down this right hand side of the field.
Dan Abram's just come alive in the last 10 minutes, I'd say. He's just been here, there and everywhere, defence and attack, and it's been absolutely wonderful to watch. so they'll be hoping for more of the same for the last couple of minutes and the second half.
Tags on the extras, does Dan Abram. 3 from 3 for the Whitehaven fullback. Rochdale Hornets 10, Whitehaven 18. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. And we'll have a look. Just take a minute, see if there's any scores from elsewhere and around Rugby League this afternoon. No games in the Super League. Apparently, still Batley 0, Featherstone 0, Doncaster 22, Hunslet 8, London 0, Barrow 10, Sheffield 4, Widnes 0, York 10, Oldham 4, down into League 1, Crusaders 4, Swinton 18, Newcastle 0, Dewsbury 16, and Workington 6. Keighley, they'll kick off bounces, and it's into the hands of Jack Kellett, who finds Clark Chambers. Chambers spins out of the tackle, but wrapped up pretty soon after there was Clark Chambers. Kellett in at dummy half. Mitchell Todd's now looking to try and fetch Whitehaven forward here, but the Hornets defence trying to get on top, knowing they've got to try and minimise the yardage here for Whitehaven. Holgate now finds Joe Hartley once more. Probably his best 40 minutes we've seen in a Whitehaven shirt so far from Joe Hartley. He's been really effective on that left-hand side edge, and Holgate goes and tries to exploit the space now down on that left-hand side. Great run from Holgate, made 15 plus metres there. Biggerdyke now into the hands of Nixon, into Kellett, into the hands of Abram. Will find Mitchell Todd. Todd will then straighten up and take Whitehaven over halfway. Look for the offload, but elected to keep hold of it. It is the 5 and last. Abram in there at dummy half, looks to get the kick in himself and trying to find touch. Great work from the experienced man, and he does just find touch. Flanagan was happy to let it go. He could have easily tried and got it there, could Max Flanagan, but realised maybe he feel like his side need a rest, and it will be a play of the ball in the centre of the field, just over 2 minutes until the half-time hooter.
And as we spoke about before with Dan Avram, he's just controlling the game the last 10-15 minutes. He's been really, really good, and that was such an experienced kick there, straight into the corner. And again, Rochdale have now gone 95 metres to try and get a try.
So it will be Nixon off the wing to try and take his side forward here. But he's pushed back a metre or two there. With Christian and Holgate involved in the tackle. Goes down that right-hand side. Just over the 20-metre mark is Darcy Simpson. Made a couple of metres post contact there as well, so play it 25 metres out. Back towards the middle now with Ridgard. Ridgard offers it up and finds Jordan Andrade. That's a battle emerging between DST and Jordan Andrade. Brought down. Punchard in at dummy half. Now finds Ridgard. Ridgard out the back then to Else, and Else has to straighten up. He's looked really good in the Rochdale shirt this afternoon as Lewis Else, and then now taken down for the ball stripped. First, that's the third penalty of the afternoon Whitehaven's conceded. Just 1 minute. The shout you can hear from Brad Brennan, who's down below us on the Whitehaven up and the Whitehaven backroom staff on, is the injured man this afternoon. But they'll start this 23 metres out. Ashton will be the man to take the tap now, then finds into the hands of Else, and then finds now Ross Whitmore. Put down onto his front is Whitmore. Whitehaven need to survive here. Just before the half-time break, Punchard comes left into the hands of Ridgard, comes into the hands of Else once more, out the back to Flanagan, into the hands in this right-hand corner, had to get it in and eventually be put in touch. Fantastic last gap defence from Jack Kellett, who come from nowhere like Superman on Superhero Day here at Spotland to put the man into touch, and with about that should be the last action of the first half.
Right,
told you it should be the last action of the first half here at Spotland. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. It is Rochdale Hornets 10, Whitehaven 18. Try from Tom Ashton in the 4th minute. Lewis Else kick that Dylan Kelly Duffy put the jumped ahead of Dan Abram and was able to get the ball back inside, back outside, I should say, to Tom Ashton, who put the ball down in his left-hand side corner. Ridgard hid the extras, and then it was Josh Blinkhorn who levelled the scores for Whitehaven. Joe Hartley with the break, and then a couple of players later reached out to Josh Blinkhorn and put the ball down with his left hand. Abram added the extras to level the scores, and then Whitehaven hit the front through Ellison Holgate. That intercept, which come absolutely out of nowhere, didn't it, in the middle of the field. Then Abram added the extras. Whitehaven led, and then Tom Ashton reduced that deficit once more. That penalty for the dubious challenge in the air on the far side. Then from short range, he was able to put the ball down, was Tom Ashton for his second of the afternoon. And then 5 minutes short of the half-time break, even Biggerdyke with the offload after escaping from the tackle. Initially looked like he took the wrong call going down the short side on the 5 and last, but great work from Biggerdyke, able to get his arm free for the offload, and then found Ellison Holgate to put the ball down. Abram with the extras. Half-time here, Rochdale Hornets 10, Whitehaven 18. Way out to each and every player is Anthony Murray. He knows his side can pick up the 2 points this afternoon here for Whitehaven, and like you say, pick up their first 2 points on the road all season. And that first 2 points on the road since they won with 14 players at Dewsbury at the back end of last August. So it just shows it's been a long time coming if Whitehaven can pick up the victory. There's a long way to go. 40 minutes, the second half here to go at Spotland, and you couldn't have picked a more applicable song. Two tribes go to war, because at times out there, Harvey, it's been a real war of attrition between these two sides this afternoon.
Yeah, as in the middle, the forward battle throughout has been so interesting and intense throughout. You know, the way that both teams have just gone at each other. I think the benches of both teams as well have just continued it as well, and that's exactly what you want to see in a League One game of rugby league. You know, fierce competitors going at each other, hammer and tong.
Exactly what you want. We're still waiting for Rochdale to come back out. So we've probably joined you a little bit early here at Spotland, but if you are just joining us, we'll run through the first half action, and if you are just joining us, where have you been? What a 40 minutes you've missed. But it is Tom Ashton got the first try for Rochdale in just the 4th minute. The kick from Lewis Else. Dylan Kelly Duffy, who we'd seen earlier on in the season in a Swinton shirt against Whitehaven, was able to out-jump Dan Abram. He'd have been disappointed with that one with Dan Abram, and then was able to get the ball left into the hands of Tom Ashton. Ridyard added the extras. Whitehaven levelled it up, firstly in the 18th minute through Josh Blinkhorn, Joe Hartley breaking down the right hand side, and then a couple of plays later, Blinkhorn going from dummy half, able to stretch over and put the ball down with his left hand as Dan Abram added the extras. Whitehaven then took the lead, which they haven't relinquished as of yet. Ellison Holgate with a fantastic intercept, which come from absolutely nothing. It caught us off guard. Dan Abram added the extras, 12 points to 6. Tom Ashton reduced that deficit. Penalty for the challenge in the air on was Dan Nixon on that side from Max Anderson, who really thought he was a bit soft, but it always goes in favour of the attacking side, them sort of 50-50 calls. Ridyard couldn't have the extras on this left hand side, and then 5 minutes before the half time break, Ellison Holgate went over following some fantastic work from Ethan Biggerdike. We initially thought he'd made the wrong decision, but was able to get his arm free for the offload. Was Biggerdike. Abram added the extras. Rochdale 10, Whitehaven 18. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Both sides now back out on the field, and we're just waiting to get this game back underway. Make sure that's all right. No. Game back underway now from the boot of Dan Abram, collected on the full now, finds Jordan Andrade, does Martin Ridyard, and continues to fetch his ball forward, and Chambers, DST and Ellis Nixon all involved in that tackle. Emerson Whittle still on from the start, looking to fetch his forward, is the former Keithley man. He's brought down 21 metres away from his own line. Goes left, does punch out, couple of pairs of hands. And now met by a trio of Whitehaven defenders, Nixon, Holiday and Kellett. Holiday has gone down. Punchard goes from dummy half. And then looking to get the ball inside to Else, and Else is nearly through the middle. He's looked really has something else, says Lewis Else this afternoon. I really tried to think of another word there to try and describe him this afternoon. Comes right now into the hands of Whitmore, who'll find Ridyard. Ridyard then out the back to Flanagan. Flanagan then finds Darcy Simpson, and Simpson's going to be taken down. It's the 5 and last. Holiday's back in the defensive line. Into the hands of Ridyard. 12 metres out, looking for the flat crossfield kick. That come from nothing. Tom Ashton, you're not going to stop Tom Ashton from there. And that was something else from Martin Ridyard. That was flat. There wasn't much air on that, and caught Whitehaven completely out by surprise. So they do hit back in the early stages of this second half, and Tom Ashton with his hat-trick here means it's now 11 tries and 11 appearances for the centre. And Rochdale reduce the deficit once more back to 4 points. Rochdale Hornets 14, Haven 18.
And that was a great kick as well from Martin Ridyard there. I think the experience just showed it was there in numbers there. It's straight through, and Tom Ashton goes and gets his deserved hat-trick as well. A really good start from him to this game. But from a Whitehaven perspective there, again, it was unexpected, and it took everyone by surprise in the stadium, apart from pretty much everyone in the Rochdale team, I think.
I probably took a few members of the Rochdale team by surprise more than anything else. The only person who didn't take by surprise was Tom Ashton. So I wonder if they've discussed that, if they've said, maybe at half time, we've noticed maybe Whitehaven's doing this, they've cut in, they're not leaving men out there potentially, but they've definitely said something out there. And Ridyard now looks to tag on the extras once more. The most difficult attempt of the afternoon for Martin Ridyard on that far touchline. Comes at it right-footed. Martin Ridyard sails over the black dot, however, from Martin Ridyard, and the gap is back to 2 points here at Spotland. 2.5 gone in the second half. It is now Rochdale Hornets 16, Whitehaven 18.
And Whitehaven now will just be hoping to, get back to the drawing board and have a really, really good defensive set here again, because a similar thing happened in the first half and they had a really, really good response. They'll be hoping for exactly the same in the second half.
Yeah, of course. Tries in both stages, early stages of either half, 4 minutes and then 2 minutes in to the second half. Abram nails the kick-off. Andrade once more now looking to fetch it forward, trying to pick out a battle against DST, and Andrade recommences. Clark Chambers is in there as well. Punchard goes left into the hands of Else. Is it Simpson on that side now will be brought down. Punchard still remains in at dummy half. Into the hands now of Emerson Whittle on that 30 metre line. That shortened 30 and 40 means he makes an extra contact on metre or two, and then post contact and nearly on the 40. Ridyard looking to go for a potential 40-20 here. Jay Weatherall needs to get on his bike. Angle isn't there. Collects it, does Jay Weatherall, and now looking to get on his bike once more as he straightens up and tries to take on Lewis Else, but he's wrapped up there by Else. And Dan Abram in at dummy half now. Manson Moore will now be the man to take Whitehaven forward here. Second tackle, he's put down 21 metres away from his own line. Holgate back in at dummy half, into the middle now with Ellis Nixon, and Nixon met there by a trio of Rochdale defenders. Emerson Whittle will be the last man off. Goes right once more now into the hands of Connor Holliday, and Holliday looking to try and take Whitehaven forward. But good post contact meters once more again from the Whitehaven captain. Holgate looks to go down that short side. Mitchell Todd will take Whitehaven over halfway. 5 and last now. 42 metres away from the Rochdale line, into the hands of Kellett. Kellett gets the kick in, just goes end over end. Flanagan's had to get on his back to try and get there. He's lost it, it's come off his feet. And if Whitehaven can get there, this should be a fresh set of 6 as it is, as Rio McQuiston dives on it. 25 metres out now. Holgate goes right into the hands of Clark Chambers. Chambers put down 20 metres out. Centre field. Holgate will come left into the hands of DST. Straightens up, does DST. And that battle between Andrade and DST just continues. Taken down 10 metres out. Goes right into the hands of Biggerdike, who finds Kellett out the back to Dan Abram. Abram trying to find a gap. He's going to be taken down as the Whitehaven fullback. 12 metres out. It's a slow play of the ball. Todd's in there at dummy half. Comes like, Mitchell Todd's in there now. It was Holiday in there at dummy half. Todd takes Whitehaven within 3 or 4 metres. It's the 5 and last. Are they going to go down the short side? Holgate's going to look to pop it up for DST. Can DST power his way over from short range? Has he got that ball down? He hasn't. He's brought down just short, but it means the Hornets are going to have to do this. Bring this ball forward within 2 metres of their own line. It's not the worst end of set in the world.
It's not, no, exactly. Just keep the pressure down there. That's the most important thing sometimes. If you're not going to score points, if you're not going to get a repeat set, keep the pressure on. And that's what they'll be hoping to do here.
He nearly broke down that left-hand side once more, did the Rochdale Hornets, but able to play the ball now. Punchard's in there at dummy half, and nearly again is Lewis Else, and Else just get the ball down to Ashton. And then got a bunch of his inside. Ellis Nixon's on the chase. Flanagan's trying to get there. Flanagan does get the ball down. It's back-to-back tries, and that half-time advantage that Whitehaven did have is now being eroded. And it's Rochdale Hornets 20. Whitehaven 18. It's that right hand side defence for Whitehaven, left hand side edge for the Hornets. That's where they have troubled Whitehaven, and Flanagan's now had the opportunity to get his first of the afternoon. It's the Hornets 4 and they lead Rochdale 20, Whitehaven 18.
I think that's what you call a commentator's curse there from myself. I thought keep the defensive pressure on down there, but no, really, really good from Lewis Else. Kept the pressure on, and again, throughout this game, Tom Ashton's been so dangerous, and he just give the ball to Max Flanagan. There were no stopping him from there, unfortunately. But yeah, again, very, very good from Rochdale.
His 13th try of the season for Max Flanagan in just his 14th appearance. The sort of back three have been quite prevalent in scoring tries, as you want, of course, for the Rochdale Hornets this season. That's Max Flanagan with 13. Dan Nixon scored 14. Luke Forbes scored 21. But even now, Tom Ashton's 11 from 11. There's plenty of tries in that back line, and we've seen why this afternoon.
Absolutely, yeah. I think throughout they've been really, really dangerous, and I'm sure they'll continue to try and be dangerous, but that's what Whitehaven have got to try and nullify now. Just kind of try and stop them if you can kind of attitude, because sometimes when they're going on a break like that, it is just unstoppable.
Ridyard once again 20 metres out on the straight. Tags on the extras once more. He's 3 from 4 is Martin Ridyard, and it's now Rochdale Hornets 22, Whitehaven 18. And what Whitehaven need to do, Harvey, is not let the heads drop. He's seen this in the first half. They conceded an early try. It's a couple of tries now, but they're still within this game, and we've seen how that first half ended.
Of course they are, and all you need is something like an error here, a bit of confidence back into the side again, because they've shown in the first half they can do it, so why can't they do it in the second is the best way of putting it, really.
Abram's changed tactics and gone to the right hand side of the field on this occasion. Emerson Whittle is the man to fetch it forward, brought down 11-12 metres out. DST, Holgate and Chambers all involved in that tackle. Punchard now finds Jordan Andrade, tries to get his arm through his Andrade, but Chambers involved once more, as is DST and Nixon. Punchard into the hands now with Ridyard, and then finds Isaac Reed, being pushed back a metre or two there as Isaac Reed. So he's going to play this 30 metres out. Punchard's in there at dummy half, looking to come down this side. Punchard's gone from dummy half himself. He's brought down on halfway. So still a couple of tackles left in the bank here at Spotland. Goes left into the hands now of Ridyard. Pops it up once, then obviously out to Else, and they're looking to go down that side once more, and it's Forber on there. He's had to come back inside him, Forber, and it's now the 5 and last. The 29 metres away from the Whitehaven line. Ashton's had to go in at centre. Finds Else, will now find Ridyard. Ridyard looking for the kick, looking for Dan Nixon. Nixon gets there. He's going to have to stop the play. Is it a knock-on from... Yeah, it's a knock-on from Dan Nixon. But Hartley's there, Nixon's there, and Hartley looks like he's come off the worst there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a good one down there whatsoever. I think it was just one of those that they both clashed accidentally with each other. Nixon,
thankfully, is being able to get up and okay there, but Joe Hartley has gone down. It'll be a real loss if Joe Hartley has to leave the field, because he's been a strike player on this edge for Whitehaven this afternoon. Who is it we're leaving the field? Carl Garner will be coming onto the field. He'll be replacing Clark Chambers. We're just waiting to see if Joe Hartley's going to be okay to continue. Physio has sat him up here. Looks like he's going to get the okay to continue, is Joe Hartley. Yeah, he will get the okay to continue, and it will be a Whitehaven play the ball. It was a knock-on on the 5 and last. To judge that Nixon had knocked on, which I don't think he did, but let's whisper that quietly. Game's back underway now with Max Anderson looking to fetch it forward, and Rochdale really on the front foot here now. Pushing him back, gets the offload away into the hands of Carl Garner, and Garner's taken down. Plays the ball, Holgate in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands of Connor Holliday, and Holliday taken high. That is Whitehaven's first penalty of the afternoon, none in the first half. And now we'll have an opportunity to put the ball down the field.
I think it's that they'll be open to putting a little bit of shape here if they get into a decent area in this set.
Dan Abram puts the kick into touch. Makes sort of 15 metres does Dan Abram. Whitehaven will start this 3 or 4 metres over halfway. Mitchell Todd will be the man to take the tap, puts it inside to Kelly. Oh, they'll find Carl Garner, and Garner meets Jordan Andrade. That should be a high tackle on Carl Garner. If you're hitting Carl Garner, you know it's high. Let's just say that. Comes left into the hands then of Biggerdike, finds Keller, finds McQuiston. McQuiston through on this left hand side as he broke through. He's got the hands in the... Oh, Dan Abram couldn't collect. Should have been through in his 200th appearance, should Dan Abram. White line fever. Should have been his first try back in his second spell for Whitehaven, and should have been scores level, Harvey.
It should indeed. It was a simple take. You take them 99 times out of 100, but this time it was just that unlucky 1% really.
Now looking to fetch his ball forward and go down that left hand side edge once more, and that looks forward from Ashton to Flanagan. Brought down is Forber on that side. Calls for the high tackle from Jay Weatherall. Else gets the ball. It's still like the first half. It's like a basketball game at the minute, just left and right, up and down.
But that's what I'd love to see, a brilliant game of rugby league.
Ridyard now finds into the hands then of Isaac Reed. DST's in there, Biggerdike's in there. Punchard goes back towards the middle now with Ridyard, pops it up to Jordan Andrade. Tried to get his hands through there, did Andrade. Nearly did, but elected to keep hold at the last minute. It is the 5 and last, 25 metres out. They're going to go down that left-hand side once more with Els. Els then gets the kick in behind, and it's collected by Tom Ashton, and gets the offload away into hand. Oh, Louis Els. It starts with Els, it ends with Els. With that little move on the 5 and last. Dan Abraham done amazingly to wrap up Tom Ashton, but he got the arm free, did Ashton, and got into the hands of Louis Els. It's 3 tries now for the Rochdale Hornets, just into the 52nd minute. Rochdale Hornets 26, Whitehaven 18, and if Whitehaven aren't careful here, they're in trouble of being blown away.
They are indeed, and I think Lewis Els has just come alive in the second half. He showed real glimpses in the first half, but in the second half he's really just come alive, like I say. And Tom Ashton throughout the game has been absolutely destructive, I think is the way of putting it. He's been so good in the sense of passing and carrying. It's been absolutely unreal from a Rochdale Hornets perspective, and now he's just hard to play against stuff like that because it's just so quick, fast paced, and unfortunately it's got Whitehaven out there.
26-18 in favour of the home side, and you feel like Whitehaven just need to keep in this contest in the next few minutes, because if the Hornets scored another try or two, it's given a scoreline a flavour it really doesn't deserve after the opening 40 minutes for Whitehaven. But the Hornets have been on fire in the opening 12 and a half minutes of this second half, Harvey.
They have indeed, and like I said with Lewis Els before the game, he'd be Young Player of the Year last year, and he's Young Player of the Year for a reason. He was so good last season, and he just, again, showing his real quality in the start of the second half.
Vidyard converts the extras once more. It's now Rochdale Hornets 28, Whitehaven 18. They were able to come back from 10 points down in the first half at Keighley last week. They're going to have to do it once more if the least to want anything from this game this afternoon. Whitehaven, BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. It's Rochdale Hornets 28, it's Whitehaven 18 via the BBC Sport app, website and your smart speakers, of course, this afternoon. Kick-off comes from Abram. Collected and all finds Emerson Whittle. Whittle will be the man to fetch it forward. Met there by Nixon, Garner, Holgate in there as well. Andrade once again, he's had a fantastic start to the second half. Gets the offload away to Ridgard, who then got it away once more. That Rochdale man's taken down. 10 away from halfway. Punchard in at dummy half. Goes into the hands then of Els, and they're going down that side once more. Tom Ashton nearly through, he's through. Gets the offload away into the hands of Forber, and Forber's going to be in. Oh, fantastic forward pass! Forward pass! Forward pass from Forber to Els. Otherwise they were in for their fourth of the second half. And Whitehaven has survived and kept in this game by referee Luke Bland. Scrum down, head and feet to Whitehaven, 10 metres out. It remains a 10-point gap.
That was absolutely crucial. That felt like it could be game over with that try there, just because we Rochdale completely on the front foot here. That was a real let-off for Whitehaven, and they hope to, try and get back into the game in the next 5 or 10 minutes, but they've got to really just defend and attack with potency.
So Whitehaven have an opportunity here now just to try and get back in this game and make it as we've seen it at times in the first half. A real war of attrition. Haven't had a chance to do that yet in the second half. Mitchell Todd's the man to fetch the ball forward from the scrum. Holgate goes right into the hands then now of Connor Holliday. Holliday taken down, put down onto his back. Holgate finds Carl Garner. Andrade meets him straight away. There's 3 involved in that tackle as Garner can't find that too many metres forward. Goes down the right hand side into the hands now at Kellett, and Kellett looks to be through the line, and here he is there, he's Jack Kellett. Just over the halfway. Holgate in there at dummy half. Back towards the middle now with DST, and he's coming on the edge there, is DST. Try and find a gap. Taken down, 30 metres out is DST. It is the 5 and last. Into the hands now at Kellett. Kellett puts the kick up for the future chase. Weatherall's going to try and be underneath it here. He gets it there, does Jay Weatherall. To fill the 5 and last. He bounces, kick forward. Into the hands now with Connor Holliday. Knock on. Not too sure where at, but he's ruled a knock on from Connor Holliday. Turnover ball. It'll be a ball for the Rochdale Hornets to start 10 metres out.
And like I said before, in the last set, they just needed a really, really good set to get up the field, and that's exactly what Whitehaven have done there. But they should be really, really pleased. And now, again, a big defensive effort's needed here, but that's a start maybe to get a little bit more confidence back into themselves for this second half.
Whitehaven will be happy. Jordan Andrade and Emerson Whitlow's both been withdrawn from the field. Jordan Andrade with a hell of a stint.
Oh, and the rest. That last 15-20 minutes, he just run through a brick wall basically. He just absolutely smashed through it. He's had a brilliant second half, and he was dangerous in the first half, but in the second has been, unstoppable.
Luke Nelms back out there now for the Hornets. Punchard now finds the recently introduced Elijah Simpson from the bench, but he's pushed back 3 or 4 metres there. He's Simpson. Got to go back and play the ball. That used to be a penalty back in the day. Punchard looking to go for the potential 40-20 here. Does Dan Abram can get back? Has he got the angle? Is he going to bounce? Can't he? He's going to have to get back. Dan Abram just keeps it in the field of play. Back on his own try line now is Dan Abram. Oh, he's just escaped from Isaac Reed, but he's brought down on the 10 metres. Bickerdike's in there at dummy half. The Whitehaven back's got some hard yards to do here. Max Anderson Mover's going to try and find some metres laterally. Can he escape from the final tackle? He can't. Made only 2 or 3 metres forward there. Todd's going to try and go from dummy half. Done well there, Mitchell Todd, to escape the clutches of Dylan Kelly Duffy. But he'll play this ball 21 metres away from his own line. Back towards the middle now with Joe Hartley. Hartley put down onto his back. Holgate in there at dummy half. Not many in at marker. Holgate nearly through the line there is Holgate. Can he get his arm free? He couldn't, just to find Ellis Nixon. It's the 5 and last. Got to be a 6 again. Surely, oh come on. Kellett gets the kick away. It's a spiral kick. Flanagan's going to be the man underneath it. Said they're offside. McQuiston is onside and okay to affect the tackle. Going to be wrapped up alongside Ethan Bickerdike. 22 metres out are the Rochdale Hornets.
I think Max Flanagan, that was a great take from him there, because a spiral bomb, beautiful kick, but it was just a great take from young Max Flanagan.
Calls for a high tackle on Dan Nixon. Ridgard finds Nelms. Holiday, Nixon and Garnett all involved. 10 short of halfway here are the Hornets. Punchard will go left, looking to go down that left hand side edge once more now, but Kelly Duffy can't make the break that an impact that Ashton did. Brought down on halfway. Back towards the middle now with Whitmore, and Whitmore's going to try and take the line on. It's going to be the 5 and last here. 59th minute. Towards the middle with Ridgard. Ridgard puts the kick up, and that's a spiral bomb as well. Max Anderson-Muir can collect in his own 20, just a bit too deep, and he'll be able to come and fetch his ball up. Takes a tap now, does Anderson-Muir, and of course it's a 7 tackle set as well. Makes 11-12 metres there. Jordan Thompson being reintroduced alongside Josh Blinkhorn, DST and Ellis Nixon, the man to leave the field. Jay Weatherall's made it to a couple of metres short of halfway. McQuiston is the man now who will take Whitehaven over halfway. Blinkhorn back out there at dummy half now. Holgate will revert to loose forward. Jordan Thompson brought down in the middle of that short and 30 and 40. Just to the left of centre. Blinkhorn in at dummy half, will go right into the hands end of Bickerdike. He'll find Keller out the back to Abram. He'll now find Mitchell Todd. Todd will look to try and straighten up and find a gap, but he's going to be taken down. Still a couple of tackles left here for Whitehaven, and they're within 20 metres out. Connor Holliday is now trying to find a gap. He's pushed one man off as Connor Holliday gets a ball down to Connor Holliday. Fantastic work from Connor Holliday and the Whitehaven captain, just short of the hour mark. Connor Holliday goes over for just his 3rd try of the season, and Whitehaven have reduced the deficit back to 6 points, and Dan Abraham will have an opportunity to reduce it to 4. Fantastic work from Connor Holliday.
Mr. Whitehaven, as we're going to call him today, that was absolutely sensational stuff. The way he just carried on going there, you thought, oh, they must wrap him up here, they must wrap him up, and no, he just carried on with his brute force and went, no, I'm getting this one down. That's what he did. That was absolutely spectacular. You know, the way, that's exactly what we spoke about throughout the game with Whitehaven, the way he just never said die attitude, and that was exactly perfect there, really, the way they performed. And now Dan Abram will look to make it 28-24.
Fantastic work from the Whitehaven captain this afternoon. 20 metres out is Dan Abram. Right hand side of the field. He'll come at it a few steps. Right footing now. Well, Abram goes across the face of the post, so it remains 6 points the gap. The first failure from Dan Abram this afternoon. Rochdale Hornets 28, Whitehaven 22. What a grandstand finish we could be in for as we've just ticked over into the final quarter here at Spotland. 6 points the gap on BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online.
And what an 18 minutes we've got here. It's going to be absolutely enthralling from both sides. Who's going to get the win? Nobody knows, but we can't wait to see how it ends up.
Ridyard puts the ball down on the tee. 19 to go as we make it. Jack Kellett will be underneath that kickoff. Bit of an awkward collection from Jack Kellett, but then finds Carl Garner, calling for the high tackle on Carl Garner once more to Whitehaven. Abraham in at dummy half. Now Jordan Thompson. Put down onto his back. An enthralling 60 minutes of rugby league we've had so far here. Biggerdike finds Joe Hartley. Rochdale's defence just on top so far in this set. 21 metres out as he'll play the ball here. Blinkhorn will find Holgate. Looking to take the line on is Ellison Holgate. Put down 30 metres out. Lost it as he's hit the ground there. Did Ellison Holgate. There's not too many complaints from those in the gold of Whitehaven this afternoon, and it will be scrum down, head and feet to Whitehaven. And we've seen how clinical Rochdale have been. Well, both sides have been from clinical again after errors, Harvey.
Absolutely, both left edges have been really, really dangerous throughout, so I'm assuming that Rochdale will look to target that in this set. But it's really gutting for Ellison Holgate there, because he's had such a good game as well throughout, but that's just one of those things. You've just got to kind of put it out your brain, focus on the next 17-18 minutes.
Ball held in the scrum, comes right then into the hands of Ridyard. Now finds Flanagan, fantastic ball and all tackle from Joe Hartley. Looked for the strip there as well, but couldn't get it. Ridyard in at dummy half, back in towards the middle now with Nelms. Nelms runs at Blinkhorn, of course he does, but he was able to hold on. Garner and Holgate involved as well. Punchard in at dummy half, into the hands now of Whitmore, finds Else. Looking dangerous is Else, then into the hands of Tom Ashton it is, but Ashton's taken down. First time they've been able to really nullify him that close to the line of Whitehaven. Into the hands now of Elijah Simpson. 17 minutes to go. Punchard comes right into the hands of Ridyard. Ridyard runs it across the line, pops it back inside then to Darcy Simpson. Pop down, 5 and last. Whitehaven have got one more to survive. Punchard in there at dummy half, looking to come down the short side, looking to get the kick in behind. It's just going to, Max Anderson-Moore's going to have to deal with it, and he's going to be pinned behind his own dead goal line. There is Max Anderson-Moore. Thought it was just going to run dead for the tap 20. Instead, Whitehaven had to concede a goal line dropout.
Yeah, that was extremely unfortunate there, because that was such a good defensive set before that. But no, a really, really good kick there. And Whitehaven will look to get a big deep kick from this dropout.
Abram finds 60 odd metres, and Nelms is the man to fetch it forward, and he'll be brought down 40 metres out. Punchard will be in weight at dummy half. Thompson and Holgate in at markers. Comes down this right hand side with Ridyard. Ridyard, Thompson and Holgate involved once more now with Rio McQuiston. 25 metres out. Punchard goes left into the hands of Whitmore, finds then Elijah Simpson. 20 metres out. Punchard looks to go down that left hand side once more with Else, then goes out the back to Flanagan. Flanagan's then going to step into the line. Within 10 metres now of the Hornets. Still a couple of tackles left in the bank. It's going to come right into the hands of Else. Else then now comes right to Ridyard. Ridyard comes right into the hands. Nixon in this right hand side corner. There was a Whitehaven man taken out in back play, but initially Darcy Simpson and then Dan Nixon in this right hand side corner. And it's Hornets' fourth try of the second half. They re-establish a 10-point advantage here. I didn't see Ellison Holgate trying to talk to Luke Bland, saying I was taken out, sir. Luke Bland not interested at all. I've just seen him hit the floor, didn't see the contact. But now Ridyard will have an opportunity to re-establish that 12-point lead.
Yeah, I think it was clear to see with the man down there straight away. It just opened that little bit of a gap for Rochdale, and they've just literally gone straight through it. And one of those things straight away that an easy try for Nixon. He's not going to get probably an easy try in his career in that sense. It was straight. There was no one anywhere near him. But again, a 10-point gap now for Rochdale. They'll be feeling pretty comfortable with that currently. But the way this game's been going, it's ebbed and flowed. So there's absolutely no doubt that Whitehaven will still fancy the chances in this one.
They certainly will. Will Whitehaven. Ridyard down in front of us, 23-24 metres on the straight. half a metre in from the touchline, comes at it right-footed. He's nailed it. He's nailed it as Martin Ridyard, as the experienced campaigner you'd expect him to. And now back to a 12-point deficit here for Whitehaven. Jake Pearce being reintroduced for Whitehaven. Carl Garner's the man to leave the field. Whitehaven now needs something great, and it's going to have to be late here at Spotland. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Abram gets the game back underway. It bounces and it bounces and it bounces. Ridyard traps it with his foot before picking it up, and now Nelms will be the man to fetch it forward. Really need an error or something here to Whitehaven just to try and get close to the Rochdale line with ball in hand. Punchard into the hands then of Elijah Simpson. Punchard in there now. Goes left. Looking to go down that left hand side once more. Tom Ashton. Taken down. 27-28 metres away from his own line. Punchard in there at dummy half. Comes back across to Else. In the middle now with Simpson. Elijah. Put down 30 metres out. It's a slower set for Rochdale on this occasion. They just know it needs to be game management now. Looking for the 40-20. But Jay Weatherall's going to be back, and it'll bounce kindly. Collect there will Jay Weatherall, 12 metres away from his own line. He'll fetch it forward, brought down 22-23 metres away from his own line with Mitchell Todd in there at dummy half, trying to get up and play the ball is Weatherall. He'll play it now. Just got to be taken down. Jay Weatherall not happy with how long he was kept to the ground. As Jake Pearce is now the man to fetch it forward here for Whitehaven, trying to get his side back on the front foot. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half, 6-7 metres short of halfway. Jordan Thompson, yeah, absolutely right. Morgan Punchard was a yard or two offside then he's got involved in the tackle on halfway as he plays this. Back into the middle now with Holgate, out the back into Biggerdike. Find Dan Abram. Abram will find Hartley. Hartley looks to step back and come back inside. This is the 5 and last. Yes, it is. 41 metres out to Whitehaven here. Comes down this short side with Biggerdike. Biggerdike puts the kick in over the top. Flanagan will have all day to collect that, but Whitehaven just need to try and pin him here. Blinkhorn's got there. Escape from Blinkhorn, not going to escape from Jordan Thompson. But it's a penalty. First one Whitehaven have conceded in the second half. I'm not sure what it's for. Just waiting to see the signal from referee Luke Bland. And just any pressure that Whitehaven putting on there has just been led off by that conceding of that penalty for a high tackle by Jordan Thompson.
Yeah, that's a real coach killer, that as well. Really, really good set that throughout, and then to just kind of let it all go with a high shot. It's really, really disappointing from a Whitehaven perspective.
Kick comes in, and it will be 6 or 7 metres short of halfway when the tap's taken now by Simpson, who gets it in then to Ridyard. Couple of pairs of hands before finding Elijah Simpson. Darcy was the one who took the tap. Taken down is Elijah. 5 short of halfway. Punchard's in there at dummy half. Going down that left hand side once more now into the hands with Dylan Kelly Duffy. He's taken down. Punchard's in there. Oh, Kelly Duffy and Kellett's having a set too. Just told him to play the ball. Comes into the hands now at Els, trying to find a gap. Going to be taken down. Wouldn't surprise me if Ridyard tries to knock a one-pointer over here. In the next couple of tackles, Punchard into the middle now with Nelms. Nelms takes it on. Ridyard's going to drop into the pocket, is he? Still a couple of tackles left in the bank. Punchard does go left into the hands of Els. Now finds Kelly Duffy, and he's lost it up on contact there as Kelly Duffy, so it will be Whitehaven, but penalty instead. Pin Whitehaven for offside, and straight away the signal from the bench comes out to take the 2. Jake Pearce sitting having that discussion with Luke Bland. I've still never known a referee to change his mind yet, and they will elect to take the 2.
I think nearly everyone in the stands was saying take 2 there as well.
Yeah, straight away as soon as the whistle and the arm come out. Connor Holliday, the Whitehaven captain, having a talk with Luke Bland there as well. Just puts his arms out, shakes his head, does Connor Holliday. And this will be, as we head in to the final 10 minutes, make it a 3-score gap if this can be knocked over by Martin Ridyard. Just waiting for the ball being put down on the kicking tee. Emerson Whittle getting ready to be reintroduced down below us. Ridgard goes through the motions. Taken.
Come on, lad. Life it old dog yet.
Puts the ball down on the kicking tee, taking as much time as he wants and is allowed to by referee. Luke Bland comes forward now, does Ridgard, and it is 36-22 here at Spotland, and you feel that is probably Whitehaven's opportunity gone now, Harvey.
Yeah, you would think so. It's got 14 points at this. It's more than a point a minute. It feels a little bit too difficult for them. But again, it's just one of those things. I think that Rochdale have just got on top in the second half, and it has been really, really difficult to stop them when they're on a roll.
Will Whitehaven look to go short? They will. It's gone the 10. It's into the hands of Joe Hartley. So if Whitehaven are going to get something, they need to get something fairly quickly, and they have an opportunity here as Hartley plays the ball. Holgate in there at dummy half finds Rio McQuiston. Pushing him back, dragging him back, picked him up 2 or 3 metres. McQuiston gets up now, plays the ball. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half. Biggerdike wrapped up. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half. Will go right into the hands then of Jordan Thompson. Thompson nearly through there. 27 metres away now at Whitehaven. Blinkhorn scoots from dummy half and gets 7 or 8 metres, does Blinkhorn, before being taken down. 5 and last. Holgate will come left into the hands of Biggerdike. Gets a kick in behind as Biggerdike is going to be collected, however, quite easily by Dan Nixon. Pushes one man off before being brought down by McQuiston. And Biggerdike and Ridgard will be in there at dummy half. Simpson looks to take this ball forward. He's pushed back a metre or 2 there. Sorry, my apologies, Max Flanagan. Ridgard gets the ball away to the recently reintroduced Emerson Whittle. He's just replaced Tom Ashton. 23 metres out here. Anthony Murray's come and joined his backroom staff down at pitch side. Ellis Nixon's getting ready to be reintroduced. He's put his shirt on back to front. Someone needs to tell him. He's noticed that out. 5 and last now. On their own 40 are the Hornets. Punchard's in there at dummy half. Finds Ridgard. Just puts the kick in and it'll bounce. He realised all 3 were back. Into the hands of Abraham. He'll now find Max Anderson Moore. Just over 6.5 to go as we make it here at Spotland. Weatherall in there at dummy half as Anderson Moore plays the ball 28 metres out. Into the hands now of Mitchell Todd. Todd's made it up to a metre short of his own 40. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half. Into the hands now of Joe Hartley. Keeps his legs pumping, does Hartley, but he's taken down eventually. 5 short of halfway. Blinkhorn goes right into the hands now of Jordan Thompson. Now finds Keller, finds Dan Abram. Abram will find Mitchell Todd. Todd had to come back inside. Jay Weatherall had overran him. Expecting a kick from Dan Abram, he was. Back into the hands now of Connor Holliday. 30 metres out here to Whitehaven as the Whitehaven captain's taken down. 5 and last. Needs to be now. Kellett comes out the back now to Biggerdike. Now in the hands of Abram. Abram straightens up. Dan Abram. He's going to get over there. He's Dan Abram. Is he? No, yes, no. Yes, he's Dan Abram. On his 200th career appearance, will Dan Abram. He'll get his first try in his second spell at Whitehaven into the 75th minute. I said it'd have to be late and it would have to be great. Is that start of the Whitehaven revival, or is it nothing more than a consolation?
We'll just have to wait and see, but that was a great response. And Dan Abram throughout this game has been superb. Had a tough start, it's fair to say, but since then has really come into it and has thoroughly deserved that try, I have to say. And that'll be hopefully a spark for Whitehaven to make a miraculous comeback.
He'll look to tag on the extras, will Dan Abram. That's Whitehaven's 5th of the afternoon. Will go through his routine, will Dan Abram. Needs to try and speed up a little bit though. Clock is against Whitehaven. We're into the final 5 minutes. He does tag on the extras, does Dan Abram. That means now it's Rochdale Hornets 36, Whitehaven 28. Abram 4 from 5 with the boot for this afternoon on his 200th career appearance. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. We make it 4.5 to go here at Spotland. As soon as the touch judge will be back in place, he can stop the clock, can Luke Bland? And he does. Rochdale obviously taking as much time as they can. And it'll be Ridyard to put the ball down on the kicking tee. We make it 4 minutes 22 seconds left here at Spotland. 4 to go. Signals the fourth official down below us as well. Ridyard back underway. Kellett collects from the kickoff. Jake Pearce is the man to take Whitehaven forward. He's brought down 16-17 metres away from his own line. Blinkhorn in there at dummy half now. Mitchell Todd. Todd will keep his legs pumping, but he's taken down 21 metres out. Centre field. Blinkhorn comes left into the hands of Holgate. Now finds Biggerdike, finds Abram, finds Joe Hartley. Hartley's looking to straighten up. Taken down is Joe Hartley, and it's going to be fairly done. And that should be all she wrote here at Spotland. And Joe Hartley just threw the ball there at Jordan Andrade. Just needs to watch what he's doing. I'll play the ball in the middle of the field. 3.5 to go to the full-time hooter, and that should be all she wrote.
It should be, yeah, but he's had such a good game as well as Joe Hartley. He's been absolutely superb throughout, so it's just unfortunate in that sense, really, but they just really defended that well. Rochdale got a couple of men around him, and
of all the people you could have given man at match to, they give it to Martin Ridyard.
Wow. I mean,
Ashton Flanagan, else. Let's give it to Ridyard. Right, okay. That is certainly the strangest decision I've seen this afternoon here at Spotland. We are back underway as he's taken down his Emerson Whittle. Goes left into the hands of Luke Nelms. Nelms within 25 metres now. Punchard goes left. Ridyard gets the ball across. It was just a little cut out pass. He potentially could have got man of the match if the man had went through there. And Ridyard, I'd understand it, maybe them being given. Nearly loses the ball there. Does Elijah Simpson, able to collect it at the second attempt. 2.5 to go as we make it. Comes right into the hands now of Ridyard. Ridyard now at the back to Flanagan. Flanagan with the double pump, and that is all over, is it? Oh no!
Great defence.
Great defence from Whitehaven. Dan Nixon taken down. 5 and last. Ridyard looks to get the kick in behind, comes off the foot of Jake Pearce. Ellison Holgate's going to have to try and dive on it. Lost it there, fresh set of 6. Then looks to put the kick towards the corner. Mitchell Todd's going to have to try and get back. It's dead. I don't think Lewis Else realised there it was all on. Within the final 2 minutes, Mitchell Todd collects the ball and he'll come and tap it on the 20. It'll be a 7 tackle set for Whitehaven here as well. And then pinned for offside are the Hornets. Only Whitehaven's second penalty of the game, both of them coming this half. Abram with the kick towards touch, just makes it. Whitehaven will start this. 42 out the way from the Rochdale line. Ethan Biggerdike now will find Jordan Thompson. Led with the elbow there did Jordan Thompson. Really, really lucky. And then that's a swinging arm in from Luke Nelms. It's getting a bit feisty out there in the final minutes or so. Kellett now finds Biggerdike. Biggerdike nearly through there, trying to get his arm through, but he's taken down 20 metres out. 65 seconds left as we make it. Blinkhorn's in there at dummy half. Holgate now into the hands of Kellett. Kellett straightens up, taken down 12 metres out to the right hand side of the field. Blinkhorn's in there at dummy half, back towards Holgate. Holgate runs across the line, finds Biggerdike. Biggerdike looking for the kick towards the corner, looking for Max Anderson-Moore. He'll get there, Max Anderson-Moore. He's grounded it. I think it's too little too late, but Whitehaven, there's the hooter. There is the hooter. 36-32. Anderson-Moore with his second of the season. Back-to-back tries in back-to-back weeks as the hooter has sounded for Max Anderson-Moore. And it's going to finish just in favour of Whitehaven. It's 36-32. Oh, and what could have been for Whitehaven this afternoon? What could have been? It probably should have been for Whitehaven, but they were blew away in the early stages of that second half by the Rochdale Hornets, and they'll make that long journey back to West Cumbria with no points in the bag. Dan Abram, conversion attempt, comes off the near left hand side post and goes behind. It's finished Rochdale Hornets 36, Whitehaven 32. I said it'd have to be late and it'd have to be great, and in the end up Harvey, Whitehaven left themselves with just far too much to do.
They did in the end, but you know what? I think the way you've got to look at it today from a Whitehaven perspective, they showed massive heart and desire throughout the game. Not just give in, they just carried on going and going and going. Yeah, it was unfortunate, it was unlucky with the result. That first 15-20 minutes really blew them away in the start of second half, and that was it really. But from an overall perspective, I think it was a much more positive performance than probably most people were thinking, and it's just one of those things now. See how we can get on in the coming weeks, last few weeks of the season. But yeah, massive heart and desire shown today from Whitehaven.